Good morning, scholars. Today we're going to continue our way through Pharr's Homeric Greek, a book for beginners, continuing with Lesson 20, examining the vocabulary for lines 28 through 32 of Book 1. Okay, so we begin with the Enclitic form of nu, which is related to noon, the form with the circumflex, which is non-Enclitic, which means now, but this is a weaker form of that and is somewhat less emphatic than the particle day, and it can be translated as "but as the case is," that is now. As when I say, well, now you're in trouble, I don't mean like you're not going to be in trouble in 15 minutes. I mean that it's kind of emphatic. Well, now you're in trouble. That's what we have going on here. So, me nun toi chraisme, scapeton kai stemma ἀντιάω. This new toy, and the toy here actually stands for soy. You, now you're in trouble. Exactly. Me nu toi chraisme, something like that. Okay. Then we have hraismeω itself, our verb, which is a third singular of the second aorist subjunctive, the second aorist subjunctive ἐκ-χραισμον, and that verb means to defend, to protect, to come to the rescue of. So we see it's with the dative, and as I said, we have the toi equals soy here, and so the present subjunctive of hraismeω is hraisme, contracted from hraisme. So you can look at Smythe 57 to understand the rule of contraction. Now, so this me nu toi chraisme, we can consult Goodwin's Moods and Tenses 263, where he has a very involved discussion of it, or simply Smythe. But here, ume with the subjunctive, me with the subjunctive. The clause with me expresses desire to avert an object of fear. In its original simple form, as well as in the developed final construction, it may refer to a negative object and express fear that something may not happen. Here, me is used with the subjunctive like nēome in Latin. So, me nu toi chraisme, scapeton kai stemma ἀντιάω, lest the staff and fillets of the god do you no good, not defend you. Then we have men, which is an enclitic form of the third person singular personal pronoun. That means it can mean he, she, or it, and here it's referring to she, the daughter of the priest. Geraos is old age, it's neuter, and ἐπ-είσαι is a third singular indicative of ἐπ-ειμι, ἐμε being equivalent to ibo, I shall come, and of a state or condition, it is to come upon one, and the one is represented in the accusative. So prin men kai geras ἐπ-είσαι, and prin means just like sooner, her, even old age shall come upon. Prin men kai geras ἐπ-είσαι. So ἐπ-είσαι is, as I said, from the verb to go, Latin ire, but actually in the present system it means it always has a future sense. But and I'm starting you off easy with the forms of this verb, giving you just the singulars of the present in the first, second, and third person. Now, ėmė only has a present system, so ėmė, ėsė, I shall go, you shall go, he, she, it shall go. And then I'm also giving you the imperatives. The second person imperative singular, ite, which we're going to see very soon, and ito, let him go, the third person singular imperative. So here we have ėmė combined with the prepositional prefix ep to come upon, prin men kai geras ep-esin. Next, we need our possessive pronouns, and so I'm giving you the whole system, singular and plural of all three persons. So, but the one that we are interested in here now is the plural of the first person, our own, ours, ἡμέτερος, ἡμέτερα, ήμέτερον. So, ήμέτεροι en oichoi, in our house, ήμέτεροι in our koi, actually, are in house. Okay, so Greek word order is just Greek word order. It takes a long while to get used to it, but once you do, it's a wonder. And tηλόθι plus the genitive, tηλόθι, far away from. So, and patres, feminine, is one's birthplace, fatherland, or home. So, tein ego uluso, prin men kai geras ep-esin, ήμέτεροι en oichoi, in argei tηλόθι patres. Next, ἐπ-οίχομαι. ἐπ-οίχομαι is to walk along the web, following the shuttle, to work the web, going back and forth, because women in a Greek household would all be involved in the process of creating clothing. So, and the word for the loom that's used for weaving, or even for the warp of the web, is histos, histu, ho histos, and it's the same word for mast because it's an upward pole, and when they would do the weaving, I guess they would run it like that. And so histos, histu, the word for the loom, the weaving loom. ἐπ-οίχομαι is to walk along, to go along the loom, working. And lέχos, to lέχos, is a bed or marriage bed. So we have the whole line. Histon ἐπ-οίχομεν kai emon lέχos ἀντιάω. Histon ἐπ-οίχομεν kai emon lέχos ἀντιάω. And these two participles, ἐπ-οίχομεν and ἀντιάω, are referring back to men, i.e. to her, and this is what she'll end up doing as old age comes upon her. So it's a very, very, very powerful and graphic image. Just the wonder of Homer's detail of putting so much into just a couple of lines of utterance. So this verb, ἀντιάω. ἀντιάω is a verb that gets used quite a bit in Homer because it has the general sense to meet someone, with the genitive of person, to meet anyone, chiefly from design. Like, I went to meet him to talk about our plans, and both with good intentions and with bad intentions. With bad intentions, it means to go against in battle or to attack, and we see it quite a bit in that sense. But it can also mean, in the accusative, to go to in order to prepare, and this kind of seems like a bolderization, emon lέχos ἀντιάω, as if Agamemnon is talking about that she's going to be making up his bed. I think he's having her coming to his bed, but hardly simply to make it up. And so it's middle as deponent. It can also mean to take part, gamu, in a wedding. But here it means just she'll be coming to my bed, coming to meet me in my bed, and with what purpose you can imagine for yourself. Histon ἐπ-οίχομεν kai emon lechus ἀντιάω. And so this ӓντιάω sound, a little bit more needs to be said about it, because it's this strange phenomenon of these assimilated forms where the ΑΟ, you see ӓντιάω, alpha omega, actually can transform itself to either omicron omega or omega omicron, depending on what Homer needs. And so if you want to consult Smythe 643, he explains these forms, but it's just a good example of how you have to be really kind of fluid with your sense of what the vowels can do when you're reading Homer, because the vowels can do almost anything he needs them to do in order to suit the meter. So histon ἐπ-οίχομαι kain emon lechus ἀντιάω. Okay. And then finally we have the İμέτερος de, İμέτερος de, σαώτερος hos ken nēai. So İμέτερος, often you get this Allah before an imperative. I mean, I even say, but go get the car. We even do this in English. So this İmέτερος, and ite, as I've said, is the imperative of go, and it's easily confused with these other forms, iste, no, pate, say. This theta iota ending is an archaic form of the imperative that you will see quite a bit in Homer, but it is retained even in the developed language in with ite and iste, but has much wider use in Homer with other verbs, the theta iota ending for the imperative. But here we have also the more regular imperative, ἐτερίζde, and we'll be talking about imperative forms soon, but from the verb ερεθίζδω, which means to provoke to anger or irritate. So, and then we have σαώτερος, which is a comparative form of σαός, σαέ, σαών, which means safe. And so the comparative form means safer. So you'd be safer if you didn't piss me off. İμέτερος μερετίζde, σαώτερος hos ken nēai. Now, you saw the hos ke. Ke is a Homeric form of that can be stand-in for this particle on, which you see in Attic and elsewhere. The particle on, ken or ke in Homer, limits the meaning of the moods. It has two distinct uses. A, in independent clauses with the past tenses of the indicative and with the optative, and also with the infinitive and the participle representing the indicative or optative, and then independent clauses with the subjunctive. Okay, so what we're looking at here is hos ke equals hos on plus the subjunctive in what's known as a final clause. So final clauses with hos or hopos and the subjunctive generally depend on an imperative or some equivalent phrase, i.e., they express the aim or purpose of something the speaker himself does or wills to be done, or in this case, that he doesn't want to be done. İμέτερος μερετίζde, σαώτερος hos ken nēai. Now, there is quite a big debate as to whether this is a dependent final clause or whether it's independent. The ken nēai, I tend to want to, well, I won't go into what I think about it, but σαώτερος hos ken nēai, I read it as more safely, thus you would depart if you didn't piss me off, is the sense I derive from it, the way I read it. And then nēome is a verb that simply means to return home. And from this verb, you get the wonderful noun, nostos, and which means, the return home. So the Aeschylus's play The Agamemnon and the whole Odyssey of Homer are poems talking about nostoi, the bad return of Agamemnon, who gets killed by his wife and her lover when he returns home, and the good return, nostos, of Odysseus, who returns to clean out his house of the suitors who are wasting away his property and terrorizing his son and wife. But anyways, so nēome is a beautiful verb attached to an even more significant and beautiful noun. And here we have nēai, a second singular present subjunctive middle. Remember that the second person middle ending was sigma alpha iota, and that the sigma is going to disappear between vowels. So that's what you have going on here to get this form nēai, that sigma has disappeared. And as it says here, ada is the thematic vowel of the subjunctive. So al iti me meretizde sαώτερος hoske nēai. Okay, so there we go on the vocabulary and main grammatical concepts for these next lines of Homer. Keep working hard. Good luck, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.